This is a visual timer, which can be a really helpful tool for your studies, and in general too. You see, our focus is limited, and thanks to doom scrolling, you or your kids might have an attention span of a goldfish. Quite literally. But back to the review. Hi, my name is ALIEXPRESS, and I'll be talking about this mechanical one in particular, as well as touch upon some of these more modern digital ones. The premise is simple. You can train your attention like a muscle. When you're ready to give it 100, eliminate all the distractions. You set up your timer and focus on your work, research, or whatever, about phones, social media, changing your playlists, emails, or pseudo productivity crap. And while most of us probably lost ourselves in gaming, going for hours at a time without noticing the passage of time, but when faced with a task you're not particularly a fan of, but you have to do it, time crawls. So not to get discouraged, start small, say 5 minutes, and then take baby steps, 6, 7, 10, and thanks to the visual dial, you can easily see at a glance how long there is still left, making it very easy to hunt for the sweet spot. When you're losing focus, take note and add or subtract extra minutes. And even gamers might find one of these useful, especially if there are no short matches for you to take breaks in between an exercise. Not only will this save your wrist, neck and back, but actually boost your gaming performance. So something to think about, even if you're not a tryhard. There's usually 3 different options: silent, low volume, and high. And you might be curious how it compares to a regular digital alarm clock. Well, it's a bit more tricky because loudness is measured on a logarithmic scale. TLDR, a small increase in decibels means a big increase in loudness. 20 decibels is 100 times the intensity of 0 decibels and seems 4 times as loud. 30 decibels is 1,000 times the intensity of 0 decibels and seems 8 times as loud. And while we're on the topic of sound, ever heard of misophonia? It's a neurological condition, basically when you have very good hearing and certain sounds cause you distress. And you guessed it, clocks are one of the most popular triggers. So when buying the mechanical version, this was a big concern for me, as I can hear a regular clock ticking from the other side of the room. Unless you literally take it and put it on your ear, it's pretty much inaudible. Even at such a short distance like this, I can't hear it anymore. A silent alarm is a must-have when buying a visual timer. Remember I talked about being absorbed into gaming when you lose track of time and everything just fades into the background? This can and is your ultimate goal when working or studying, and is usually called the flow state. This is the pinnacle of focus and productivity. So the last thing you want is an alarm tucking you out of it. One of the things I really like about the mechanical version is the lack of a backlight, as even with a tiny amount of ambient light, I can still see the dial and remaining time, but it doesn't distract me. And some digital ones are just far too bright. So subscribe for more visual timer reviews to have a hands-on comparison. And as you see, the way they inform you about timeout can significantly differ. Yunbaoit. However you pronounce it, I have no idea, has a few mechanical versions. This is VT03 that comes in blue, purple, green, and rainbow. Other models might have a different clockwork mechanism inside. So don't be that guy that comes and types under the video, "Oh, I bought this off-brand product after watching your review and it doesn't perform as well as the one you covered." Duh! Since no one reads the descriptions, here's a size comparison with a credit card. It's very light. This is without the batteries. 2 AAAs are needed for it to function. You can still set the time with just one hand. And simple controls are another thing I really like compared to many digital ones. There's just an alarm toggle for one of the 3 modes, alarm stop or small light trigger on top, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and after spending way too much time, I must warn you that the 0 might be off. In my case, by around 30 seconds. I'll be covering more visual timers, and there are plenty of reviews waiting for you on my channel.